Hi there, welcome to Office Talk 7. I'm your host, Jeremy Brown, and we are shooting live at MMA Fit Club in Indianapolis, Indiana. We have here on the panel Robert Woolf. We have Dan Stevens, the marketing director and owner of NRB Sportswear. We also have Mark Everman, Robert Woolf's operations manager. So let's talk a little bit about Art of War 7. That was August 3rd.
Correct.
And that was just last weekend.
Yeah.
We had some big names on that card. Can you tell us a little bit about, well, we got the big fight between Sean Fallon and Dustin Parrish. Dustin Parrish, a beast. 170-pound fight there. And Dustin Parrish, from what I understand, is labeled as one of the best 170-pounders in southern Indiana, and maybe even Indiana altogether. Now he's got a loss on his record. What do you think about that?
It was a tough fight. Very good fight. He went up against Sean Fallon. Sean was coming off of a loss. His coaches, Jason Kessler, Joe Lyle, they gave him a game plan, and he stuck to it perfectly. Can't really say much about it. It was an excellent fight, 3 rounds. All 3 rounds, both fighters gave it their all. Sean Fallon, he controlled a little bit more on his back. He had Dustin in the triangle a lot, and he kept fighting. He was throwing punches, and unfortunately Dustin, he just couldn't get away from it. So it was a very well fought fight from both guys. Hopefully they'll both be back at Art of War 8, which is October 12th.
Great. Do you think there could ever be a rematch since Sean Fallon is his first loss?
Probably not. Most likely Sean's going to be turning pro real soon, and Dustin will probably be turning pro sometime early next year. So there will be sometime down the road, but most likely it's going to be a pro bout.
Okay. Then we have TJ Pettigrew. He defeated Ivan Hayes. Ivan Hayes is from the northern Indiana area. Can you tell us a little bit about that fight?
That was another great fight. I mean, Pettigrew, he was tough. I think he might have taken Ivan a little bit for granted, but I mean, they just both pounded each other for almost 3 rounds, and then the ref stopped it. It was another great fight. Yeah, can't really say enough about that one either.
And then we had the Nick Phillips versus Patrick Best. Nick Phillips defeated him by split decision.
Another great fight. 115-pound guys. This is the second time that we've had Patrick Best fight for us. Those guys are fast. I mean, very fast. Don't know how hard they can hit, but they'll hit you 100 times in 10 seconds easily. But both of those guys, once again, they put it all out there. Nick, of course, coming from the Michigan area, he wasn't as familiar with the rules. They had to take a few of his things that he usually does. The ground and pound, they were both novice guys, so you know, in novice rules here, you cannot hit to the head on the ground. So you know, but that was another great fight. That was a great fight. I'd love to see a rematch with those 2 guys.
Well, and there's not many 115s around. It's hard to match them guys up, right?
It is. Patrick Best, you know, from here, his first fight, he fought a guy out of Ohio. Now he fought a guy out of Michigan. So it's harder to match those guys up.
Then we got Cameron Van Camp. He defeated Marcus Hall. Marcus Hall said to be one of the tougher guys too. What do you say about that fight?
Man, that was probably one of the most anticipated fights. First time they fought, Marcus Hall took Cameron out, 10 seconds, controversial fight there. They deserved a rematch. This time it was a little bit different. It was a very good fight. Cameron controlled most of the time on the ground and his wrestling skills. Cameron's one of the top wrestlers in the state. Marcus Hall, newer guy, strong, punch. You know, he can knock anybody out really. So there very easily could be a swing match coming up in the future.
Wow, look forward to that. And then we got Dan Stevens here. You're the marketing director. What do you do for Robert?
My job is to bring sponsorship, social media, networking, type of, you know, something like this together for who's watching this is our fans. You know, our slogan for AOW is built by fighters for the fans. You know, I fought in the past, he's fought in the past, and now we're bringing it back to the fans. We're on the outside looking in instead of on the inside looking out now. So we know where the fighters have been, are at now, and will be in the future if they continue going positively down the road.
Sounds like you got someone good on your side.
Great guy. Glad to have him.
And then we've got Mark Everman, operations manager. What is your role with Robert Woolf and the promotion?
We take care of from setting up the cage, the chairs, making sure, the fighters are taken care of. Sometimes you gotta make tough decisions in this business. And, it's good to have two people looking at the decision instead of one and hope you got the right decision made. It's not always the popular decision, but at the end of the day, we feel like we do what's best for the fighters and the fans. It's definitely business at the end of the day. And we always take care of the fighters, from whatever needs they have. We're more of a fan than probably the fans are of the fights. We really are. I mean, we enjoy it, and when you don't enjoy something, it's time to step away. And our promotion speaks for itself. We've been to other shows, see how the fighters are treated, and I honestly feel we treat the fighters better than 90% of the shows we go to. We care about the fighters. We really do. If it's from, myself and my family buying the fighters dinner when they don't have money. It's just small things like that, This promotion really cares about the people that come to the fights and the people that fight at the fights. At the end of the day, that's how you have to be, or you're not going to grow, you're not going to be successful. And we're only successful as the fighters are and the fans enjoying the show. You're as good as your last show. And that's how we feel about it. So hopefully we keep growing, go in the right direction, take a new look on things, and keep being positive with it.
Okay. Speaking of growing, do you guys bring fighters from out of state to fight in your show?
Oh, definitely. We're in contact right now with a fighter from Missouri. My 145, which he's getting ready to turn pro, Mike Ricketts. He holds the Art of War belt at 145. He's from Kentucky. I bring fighters in from Ohio.
Joe Hall.
Yeah, Joe Hall. He's from Ohio. He's my my heavyweight. So I love bringing fighters from all over the place. I want to put the best matches possible together. I'm not just worried about, are they going to bring a fan base? Like Mark said, I enjoy the fights. That's why I'm into this. That's why I put these on. And if I'm going to be putting them on, I want to see the best fights possible, not just to try to make the most money. Mike. So.
We asked the community and the folks on Facebook to send in any questions that they may have for the panel of guests that we have on Office Talk, and we got a question from a fighter in northern Indiana. His question was, how come you guys don't bring in fighters from northern Indiana? Well, I know for a fact you brought in Ivan Hayes.
Correct.
And Nick Phillips, he's over in that area. He's in Michigan, but he is in kind of our area. So what do you have to say about that?
I want to bring in as many fighters from up north, down south, Ohio, everywhere. We were putting on a tournament, and we sent out open invitation to as many fighters as we could. Of course, this Art of War being a newer promotion, we're in our second year now. unfortunately, I didn't know as many of the fighters as I would like to. I'm hearing of new fighters coming out all the time, and it's like, hey, I want these guys to come fight for me. This upcoming card, I got a guy named Motorhead, James Davis, tough as nails. He's from Illinois. He's going to be coming here. We're having him up against a guy from Ohio, a guy named Blaine Hodges. He hasn't fought for a while, 7-0. He's a beast out of Vision, Cincinnati. So all these fighters, I'm trying to get another guy from Vision, Cincinnati to go up against a guy from Missouri, Sheldon Smith, hopefully. So all these guys, I'm reaching out as far as possible. If anybody from up north would want to come here and fight, by all means, please contact me. Mark, Dan, anybody. They're more than invited, and same vice versa. If any fighters that fight for my promotion, I'm more than happy to say, hey, look, go check out MFL. Go check out HFC. Any of those guys. Go see Kyra Show, Hook and Shoot. Matter of fact, Lloyd Thornton, he's my 135 belt holder. Now he's the belt holder at Kyra Show. And he's going up to Coliseum Combat to fight Andrew Ferguson for their belt. So the fighters that usually fight for me, they're not stuck to my promotion. They'll go anywhere, and I try to go anywhere to get the best fights.
And we also lost a fight doing that too. Levi Rose. Mm-hmm. Levi contacted Bobby, wanted to go fight in St. Louis. We go for it. Broke his hand. We had to take him off our card. Because we said no, we know we got you, on our fight. We really don't want you to do that. Why would you cheat the fighter like that? Why not get him all the exposure? I mean, it's to get the fighter to the next level. So these promotions that hold these people back, they're not helping the fighters. They're not helping the sport. They're really not. I mean, either fight here. If you fight for another promotion, I don't want you back on the card. What's that telling the sport? You don't want the sport to grow. You don't want the fighter to grow. That's the name of the game. Get them to the next level. It's not about the money, the fan base. It's got to be about the fighter at some point. Mm-hmm. If it's not, think about who you're fighting for and what you're fighting for.
From what I'm hearing is you guys kind of have an open door policy, and maybe there's a misconception from the northern Indiana to the southerns that maybe there's just not a good contact, and maybe now there can be,
I hope so.
The northern fighters can come to the south, and vice versa.
Yeah, no, for sure.
If you don't give the fans a different look at fighters, they're not going to come back to your show. Who wants to see the same 4 guys fight every 3 months? Mm-hmm. That's not good for the promotion. It's not good for the fighters. It's not good for the sport. Why not reach out? It's like when we reached out to Bluegrass MMA. Think about doing a show in Kentucky. Why not us get our name out there before we go there? You've got to be ahead of the game, or the game's going to pass you up.
And on that same sense, Jeremy, like Mark's saying, our promotion doesn't bring you, say, Jeremy Brown, to a show because of your name and throw you in there with anybody. We're going to give you a fight that's worthy and expect you to put effort in it. There's no one-sided, lopsided fights here.
Okay, well, our last card, we have 10 fights. 70% of them, 7 of the fights, went to a decision or in the third period. We only had 2 fights in the first period. One of them was Van Camp and Marcus Hall. It's like, wow, didn't expect that coming. I thought that was going to be 3 rounds, banging it out, ground everywhere. The other one was a novice fight, Terry Davis, Mason Howard. I mean, they're both tough stand-up guys, and they're going to go far in the sport as well. Terry caught Mason with a right, dropped him, rear naked choke. But most of our fights are evenly matched, and I want to see them go to the distance. I don't want none of the fighters. I have fighters that train here at the MMA Fit Club that are on the show. I'm not going to set them up with somebody that they're going to walk through. It just doesn't make sense.
That's an injustice to the fans to do that. You're hurting your promotion if you do it. Mm-hmm. When the fan shows up and knows, well, this is going to be sad. What do you tell them?
And we all have seen it. You know, you've seen it up north at certain places, I'm sure. We've seen it around here, and we all hear about it everywhere else. So we don't want to be just like, you know, the one up north that you guys help. We're not going to be the ones that give people just easy fights just to walk through everybody.
That's good
We
to
want to
hear.
be respectful and respected at the same time.
So, have you heard any conversation, talk in the MMA community about having a champion versus champion type of scenario? For instance, one promotion puts their champions up against the champions of another promotion. Have you heard any of that talk?
Yes, yeah, I've heard stuff like that. It's very hard to do. Very, very hard to do. There's some promotions that label their champs their champs. You know, these guys are my champs, those are your champs. And the problem is a lot of promotions, they don't want to give up, say, ticket sales. So if I have somebody like Sean Fallon that wants to fight in front of his fan base, which is Central Indiana, it's going to be hard for him to actually go down south and fight there because he wants to bring his fans with him. And I think that's part of the problem right now. You have the bigger pro shows, you know, Bellator, UFC, all those guys. They pay out thousands of dollars for these fighters to come. So the fighters don't really, hey, you're going to see me on pay-per-view, you know, my fans are there. Mm-hmm. And that's the big problem. If there is ever something like that, I'll tell all of the people that represent our business. You know, Stan was telling me just earlier that, hey, this is what we're planning. You know, we're going to have champions of Indiana fighting champions of Indiana. By all means, I want people like Boyd Thornton, you know, Sean Fallon. I want those guys saying, hey, look, I'm Art of War's champion. You know, and when they go and fight, people's going to see that, and that's just going to help my promotion out. They're going to say, you know, Robert Woolf, he's not just giving somebody a belt. These guys are earning the belt, and I want the Art of War champions to be the toughest guys out there. So it doesn't matter if my champion is from down south, from north, from central, from anywhere. Just, I want the toughest guys around to fight for my show. So more than happy to send my champs out anywhere.
Well, that's good to hear. We're going to take a short break and see you on the other side, guys. Hi there, welcome back to Office Talk. Robert Woolf, got Art of War 8 coming up. Art of War 7 was a very exciting card. Had some very exciting fights. Art of War 8. I know you've got Tyler Finessi 4-0 versus Chad Wren. They're fighting for a vacant title, 125 title.
125 title, yes.
And how did this come about?
Through the tournament, Chad fought for us a couple times. He recently beat Chris Tanner. Very tough fight. Tyler Finessi, he's fought for me before. He hasn't fought in a while. He's been, you know, his last fight, well, he fought Austin Ferguson at Coliseum Combat. And I reached out to him. He's starting to train again, Finessi. And he definitely said he's up for the challenge for Chad Wren. So
Great.
that'll be a very good fight to watch. Very good fight. It'll come down to it'll probably be a decision.
Is there any other fights that you'd like to mention?
James Davis. Like I said earlier, he's fighting Blaine Hodges. That is going to be a very tough fight. Very tough fight. I believe one of the last fights that caught a lot of hype from James Davis, he fought Sam O'Keefe. Knocked Sam O'Keefe out with a head kick. He's a tough kid. Very tough kid. Blaine Hobbs, I don't know as much about him. He's out of Ohio. I've seen some of his videos. Tough ground guy. Legit stand up. He trains out of Vision Cincinnati, Chuck Wells. I've heard nothing but good things about him. So that'll be a good fight as well. We're trying to get Ivan Rodriguez against Sean Fallon. That
Wow.
right there. Sean, he's been wanting to take time off, but he's a true fighter, so he never takes his time off. I don't know if this is going to be the time where he does take his time off or not. Hopefully, he accepts the fight with Ivan Rodriguez. That would be a huge fight. And there's a few more that we're getting ready to get under contract that are going to be big fights as well. Art of War 8 will rival Art of War 7, except there's going to be a few more fights on there. We're going to push up the starting time to 7 o'clock. Usually we try at 7:30. We're going to have it at 7 o'clock this time. Most of the fights, once again, they are going to be evenly matched fights. They're going to go the distance. They're going to go to decisions. They're going to make it to the third.
Great. How many people do you normally bring to your shows?
Man, it depends. We changed venues recently. Our last couple shows, we've had not as good of a turnout as we wanted, probably about 450 people or so. The last time we had one at the Wyndham Hotel, which was where we started from, we had close to 1,000 people in there, and the room was rated for about 700. It was standing room only. The manager of the hotel, they said, stop. You know, we're about to call the fire marshals. Not a single person's allowed in. It was great. We're actually going back to the Wyndham next year. February 1st is going to be Art of War 9. We're going back to our hometown, our home venue, and we're going to have 3 shows there, and then most likely we're going to go back to the soccer field. The soccer field, 15,000 square feet. I mean, we can get 3,000 plus people. The place is huge. So when we have this small, 450 people, which is still a good sized crowd for local MMA, it looks empty. So this time for Art of War 8, there's a lot more changes going on. It's called Evolution. We're actually evolving from Mad Wolf Promotions to Art of War Fighting Championships. Mad Wolf Promotions, we've had it forever. We're still going to have our logo, but our identity's changing. Our new slogan, built by fighters for the fans. We want the fighters are the ones that are building on our reputation, having the best fighters, leaving that on, and the fans are starting to come. We want to put on the good show for fans. So we're actually evolving into something different, and I'm excited. I'm excited for the path that we're doing. We're going to be doing some new things for the fans, for the family of the fighters that nobody's ever done before. So be ready for that. It'll be cool. It'll be real cool. Promise.
The new changes that have come about for you, would you say that's from your team here? Did you have some new guys come aboard?
Oh, definitely. We just brought Dan on. Dan's a marketing guy. He knows a lot of people. He can go out, get the sponsors. Tons of ideas. I mean, this guy all day long.
I text him ideas just so I don't forget them. Just to send them out before he has them.
So sometimes I'm like, God, I'm eating. Okay, Dan. I mean, it's just constant. And then Mark, whenever I come into something that I'm deciding, Mark's the first guy I hit. Mark, what do you think about that? No, it's stupid. Why would you even think about it? Okay, cross that off. And then, and come up. And like I said, there's some things that I think is going together. I made my own group on Facebook now. And that's one of the first things that I do now, is I ask the fighters, the coaches, the managers, and the fans. It's like, tell me what I need to do. What didn't you like about the show? How can I improve it? And I ask for honest criticism. Because if I don't get the honest criticism, if I'm not hearing, I'll never know. So by all means, I mean, I'll take a bullet. I just want to find out how to put on the best show possible.
That's great that you got an open ear, and I'm sure you got to have one with Margaret. He's pretty blatant.
Very blatant.
But you need somebody to keep you straight, right?
Exactly.
What would you tell fighters watching the show? Why would they want to fight for you?
They're going to get a fair fight. It's going to be matched up fair. If you're a 1-3 fighter, you know what? I'm going to put you with a 1-3 fighter. I'm not going to put you with the guy that's 5-0 that sells 100 tickets. I'd rather not sell the tickets than to have somebody get beat up and never come back to MMA. I mean, MMA is great. So I don't want fighters to get beat up, number one. I'll take care of the fighters. I want the fighters to talk to me and tell me what they need, what makes it enjoyable for them to go to a promotion. Does this fighter, do they want food after weigh-ins? Of course, I found out by the commission that you're not supposed to have food during the fights. When before my first couple shows, I was putting out fruit for them, oranges, bananas, and all that. And they said, well, not really allowed to do that. So, unfortunately, I had to scratch that. But now for weigh-ins and stuff, that's what we're going to start doing. We're going to start making sure that there's water there for them, food for them to eat real quick. I see the fighters bringing their own coolers with them. It's like, you know what? Just tell me what you want for you, and I'll make sure you have it. The promotion, of course, sometimes the shows start a little bit late. The doctors, the guys are still wrapping hands, things like that. So that slows it down a little bit. We're trying to expedite that to try to get that to happen a lot faster. And it's really whatever the fighters want and what they want to see in a promotion is what I want to give them. And hence, once again, our slogan, we just keep going back to it. It's being built, our reputation, our company is being built by the fighters. And then they're not doing it for us, they're doing it for the fans to come and watch. I mean, that's the whole reason why I want to do this.
Do you get personal with the fighters? Do you have a personal relationship with them?
Oh my God, yeah, I really do. I have fighters ask me about personal stuff. Hey, what can I do? Can you help me out? Can you try to find me a job? The other day, I literally called a fighter to just ask him, hey, 2-hour notice, lives in Noblesville. Can Zach pray? It's like, Zach, dude, I really need you. Can you help me out? Dropped everything. I'll be there. Came in, weighed in, fought that night for him. It was at the last minute. He calls me and he's like, hey, look, can you help me out? I'm trying to get a hold of somebody. I want to be an assistant wrestling coach. It's like, dude, I got you covered. So I called him, and thankfully, now he's an assistant wrestling coach. And people do that all the time. They'll call him, hey, do you think maybe you can help me out by, doing this for me? And by all means, I'll do it. The fighters, they look at me more as a friend. And that's what I wanted, I tell all the fighters, even all the fans, when they see me at the show, stop. Talk to me, grab me. I don't care if I'm busy, I'll tell you. It's like, dude, where are you sitting? I'll be right back. I'll talk to you in a second. And I want to show that attention. Same with Mark and Dan. If a fighter wants to come up and talk to them, they'll talk to them. If they don't, then I'll say, Dan, dude, come on. Me and you's going to get in the cage. But talk. Be friendly with the fighters. Be friendly.
You got to have a personal relationship with him to a point. If not, then you don't care about the person.
Right.
He's not just a fighter. He has a family and he's there trying to do the best he can for you. It's like you said, Zach, 2-hour notice. And he come there to fight. He didn't come there to lay down and get beat. Mm-hmm. He put on a fight. 2-hour notice and come in and do what he did? Hell. That kid put on a fight for a 2-hour notice. You would think 2-hour notice, he's going to come in, they're going to be over in 30 seconds. That wasn't the case. I thought he was going to beat Cy Norris.
Yeah, he fought.
He fought.
One of the top 135s.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, see, so you know him. And Zach's like, who am I fighting? Cy Norris. I'll be there. It's like, all right, sweet. Tell the commission, hey, he's coming. Told Cy's like, it's on. Which I went through 4 fighters for sign-ons.
Is he
Injuries.
backing out? No one.
Injuries.
Oh, okay.
They kept getting injured.
Blood work.
Yeah.
And
Well-
the fighters may not be held accountable for that. You know, a lot of these fighters, they train, they sacrifice, they cut weight, they lose money from going to work, and the other guy shows up, and you know, it wasn't Thornton's fault. You know, they made a mistake on his blood work. But you know, at some point, you got to look at it, and you got to know what's due. And you know, you got to hold the fighter accountable. It's not fair to the other guy who cut weight, who trained, who sacrificed. You know, it's not fair to him to lose a fight. You know, not be able to fight that night. And that's, you know, hell, Bobby jumped through hoops to get Cy Norris to fight. And Cy was kind enough to stick through it with us. You know, a lot of other fighters would have said, you know what, it's not going to happen. I'll see you when I see you. And Cy do that. You know, Bobby jumped through hoops. I'm not kidding. It was absolutely incredible. Everybody tried to do what they could, and he made the fight happen. You know, it wasn't to sell tickets. It was for Cy Norris. He trained and everything, and if you don't go that extra mile to try to get that kid to fight, he's not going to come back and fight for you. If you say, well, you know what, he didn't make it, you know, sorry about your luck, you don't care about it. Try to get him somebody. He doesn't make the sacrifice. Invited people, his friends and family and fans. You know, you got to go that extra mile for the fighters too. You know, and then in return, like Zach, he went the extra mile for us, showing up on a 2-hour notice. You know, that's the kind of relationship you have to have with fighters. It has to be give and take. You know, it really does. And it's good for both of us. It's good for the promotion. It's good for the fighter. And you know he can count on. But, you know, this was Bobby's first card he match made. You know, the card spoke for itself. You know, I spoke to some people from the commission. Absolutely best amateur card they've ever seen in the state of Indiana.
Wow.
Straight out of their mouth. Sitting right next to the
That's
case
loud.
side. That is. You know, I'm like, you know, it is pretty impressive. It really is.
Good. Who coaches at the gym MMA Fit Club?
We got to get a new one now. Mr. Miller, he was our 10th Planet jiu-jitsu coach, and his back.
It was
Joe. Yeah, his back. Joe Miller was our
John Miller, yeah.
Joe Durham, his back is so. I mean, everybody knows if you're a fighter, you train, you get beat up. So he needs a break. Jared Bailey, he's out here. He's our fitness trainer. We have
Dustin Neese.
yeah, Dustin Neese out here on Wednesdays
Really?
and Fridays. Yeah,
He
does.
coaches here.
He coaches here for MMA classes. So he'll be here on Wednesdays and Fridays. Austin Tweedy comes and works out with him, of course, the whole Team Indiana guys. And we have a lot of people that come here. Of course, we have amateur fighters here. You know, Paul Palacios, Chad Wilson. Hopefully he's getting back into it. He's been out, injury ridden, you know, and then work related stuff like that. So he'll be back. Mason Howard, Lamonte Dixon. We have quite a few fighters, and then of course you can see we have room for Zumba, the Pilates. We have weights here for weightlifting, a cage, a ring. Mike Gurley looks after the fighters. We have a lot of good people.
And it's right in the middle of a mall.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm wowed, because what better place to have a gym than in the middle of a mall, right where a ton of people are. You get people walking by. I'm sure you get them coming in here asking questions and just maybe even checking you guys out. Dustin Neese, I mean.
It's funny because when Nice is here, those guys, you talking training, man, they look like they're fighting. I mean, they just go at it hard. They have hard workouts. I mean, you know, Dustin Neese, I mean, he's out there training hard, and you know, the big windows. People in the mall, they stop. They're just, you know, look at these guys go at it, and it's pretty cool. It's real cool.
It's a big gym. It looks like you have a lot to offer. You got the cage, you got the boxing ring, you got a mat over there. MMA Fit Club. It's looking good, man. Good place to come. If I was in the area, I would definitely come, and I think me and my guys, we're gonna have to come and visit you guys.
Oh, for sure,
And do some cross training.
for sure. Anytime.
Is there anything that you'd like to add?
Not really. Just check us out. We got to, like I said, we're going through an evolution. We're changing from Mad Wolf Promotions to Art of War. Our Facebook, we still have the Mad Wolf Promotions Facebook, but we also have now Art of War Fighting Championships Facebook page. Please go to that, like that. Our website now is aowfights.com. It's still, the madwolfpromotions.com. We didn't just cut everything off. So aowfights.com, madwolfpromotions.com. You can follow us on Twitter, AOW Fights, and the Facebook website, whole 9 yards. And I do want to thank all the fighters that come out and put it all on the line for Art of War Fighting Championships. Friends and family, the fans, everybody, we appreciate it. We hope to see y'all on October 12th.
Dan, is there anybody you'd like to thank today?
I want to thank you guys for coming out. First off, everybody, I want to thank these two for allowing me to become part of their family with the AOW. Also, just want to let everybody know that the InnerBeast Sportswear website is being revamped right now. MyInnerBeast.com is back up in the test phase, so check that out. Of course, Facebook page and the Twitter page.
And what about you, Mark?
Yeah, we'd like to thank you guys, Office Talk, for coming out. Of course, the fighters and the fans, we'd like to thank them. The coaches, the teams. Without them, it's not going to happen. Thank Robert, for the opportunity to do this with him. It's a lot of fun. And when it stops being fun, that's probably when we'll stop doing it. That's really about it. Just appreciate everybody who puts everything into it. There's people behind the scenes that you don't see. People setting up the cage and tables and chairs and vendors and sponsors and we owe them a lot of gratitude and we appreciate them and thankful that we had them with us.
Well, I want to thank you guys for allowing us to come out and be here today and see your beautiful gym and get to know you guys a little bit better. And to let the fans know and see a personal side of you guys and get to know you guys. And with that, we'll be right back. So we were talking about Michiana Fight League, Northern Indiana, Southern Indiana. What do you think about mixing and matching your guys down here and the guys up there?
Yeah, by all means, anybody that fights in the MFL, they can come down here and fight. Get a hold of me, Robert Woolf. I'm on Facebook. Once again, Art of War Fighting Championships. Let me know, and by all means, my fighters, or well, not my fighters, but my belt holders, you want to go up there and fight, get a hold of me. I'll get you in contact with the right people, and we can make it happen.
You know what it is. MMA reality show. Hey guys, is that Bobby Emmons?
Nah, that's not Bobby.
Nah.
Bobby Emmons, I thought you were going to see us, man. We're down here in Southern Indiana.
Central.
You missed out.